Hey everyone, my name is Narlin. I am new to vlogging, so I want you to all give yourselves a round of applause for joining me on this cystinosis journey. So I'm here basically, I know there's a lot of special needs mom videos. I know, but I want to bring you guys the raw truth, the seriousness, and fun times behind being a cystinosis parent. So my son Caden, let me come up close to this picture. You see these two little fine young men? So this is Caden, this is Cameron. So Caden, he just turned 4 on Sunday, January 12th, and Cameron is 7. He turned 7 December 29th. Yes, their birthdays are back to back right after the holidays. Isn't that great? So anyways, Caden, he was born, normal pregnancy. I had a C-section because I had a C-section with the first one. Everything was great, but long story short, about 6 months after he was born, I started to realize that he wasn't meeting his milestones. He wasn't sitting up the way a 6-7-month-old should. He wasn't like moving the way I know a child of his age should move. So I brought my concerns to his doctor. She agreed with me, and she gave me referrals to take him to a physical therapist. Took him to a physical therapist. They agreed that he had something called hypotonia, which is, his muscles are not developing and his tone is very low. He then began to start vomiting. I had just stopped breastfeeding about 2-3 weeks prior. So, we had to be switched to a whole bunch of different milks, thinking it was something with that. But then you give him a 5-ounce bottle of water and he would suck that thing in 5 seconds. So what really stuck out to me the most, we actually were supposed to go on a cruise, a 7-day cruise, family cruise. And the week before, my sister and I, we went to the store to find, a nice outfit for the boys for the captain's dinner on the cruise ship. And Caden was like out of it the whole day. He wasn't playing, he wasn't moving much, he was quiet, and I just became very concerned. I had to force him to eat, so I was like, you know what? I'm taking him back to the doctor. There is something wrong. Took him to the doctor. She was like, you know what? If I was you, I would take him to the ER, because if I do lab work here in the doctor's office, it's gonna take about 3 to 5 days to get the results. Go to the ER, you'll get the results you need right then and there. So that's what I did. Took him to the ER, they ran a whole bunch of tests, and my husband and I overheard the doctor saying to one of the nurses that, this kid is in bad shape. So apparently, all of his labs were all out of whack. His potassium level was bottomed out. His phosphorus level bottomed out. Calcium, but everything was low. We were walking around basically with a ticking time bomb. At any given moment, he could have coded from what they were saying. So they kept him. They at first thought he had a protein allergy, fructose allergy. So they made me stop all the formula, stop all of the baby food, and they put him on a hypoallergenic formula called Elecare. So I just became so, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, it's because I stopped breastfeeding. I was on that pump the whole entire night trying to get that milk to come back, and I literally pumped out 30 cc's and it was stale. So that was that with that part. So later on that night, they drew his labs again, and he also had an episode of tachycardia, which is a rapid heart rate, and his potassium was very low. So they ended up transferring him from the regular kids med surg unit to the ICU because he needed to be continuously monitored, and he was on a potassium drip. Long story short, we were in the hospital for 40 days and 40 nights. Every time I think about it, every time I go to that hospital, I have such a memory of sleeping on that hard couch, doing homework in the dark, being thrown up on, diarrhea. It was just, it was a moment of, it was a reality check. You know, you think, you know, nobody wants to have a child that has an issue, you know, but when God has his plan, honey, you just have to grab it by the balls and go with the flow. So while we were admitted, you know, he was seen by a different specialist, neurologist, geneticist, genetic doctor. He was seen by a gastric doctor and a nephrologist. So long story short, they were able to do a test called the WB cysteine. And that basically was what gave them the result that he had cystinosis. So cystinosis is a very rare illness. It affects, well, right now it's probably more people that are diagnosed with it. But at the time when he was diagnosed, we were told that there were only 500 individuals in the United States that had cystinosis and 2,000 worldwide. So how did he get this? So apparently, my husband and I, who have been together for almost 18 years, and we've been married for almost 11, we both have the same exact gene depletion. I can't even tell you what gene depletion it is. It's number 775, blah, 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 whatever number I've never even heard of in my life. Cameron does not have the illness. I am going to get him tested to see if he has that same gene depletion, because they have told me that it's a 50% chance that he has the depletion. So it is good, you know, to get him tested. So in the event, you know, when he's ready to get married, things like that, his wife can get tested as well. I mean, what is the odds of him getting married to someone who has the same gene depletion? I don't know, but I mean, my husband and I, we had no idea, no symptoms, no issues. You know, you can have that gene depletion and you're fine. It's just if the two individuals have that same exact gene depletion, it's a 25% chance that your child will have cystinosis. So what is cystinosis? So cystinosis is a illness that affects all organs in the body. All of us, you know, normal individuals, everybody has lysosome cells in their body. So with us normal individuals, our lysosome cells are able to, everybody has cysteine in their body. So the cysteine goes into the lysosome cells, and the lysosome cells has a transporter that allows our bodies to get rid of the cysteine, which is, you know, all of the toxic waste, things like that, to eliminate. Caden, individuals with cystinosis, their bodies cannot get rid of the cysteine. The transporter is broken from the lysosome cell. So with it being broken, the cysteine builds up in the lysosome cell and it creates crystals. So these crystals can form in the eyes, they can form in the kidneys, they can form in the liver, anywhere in the body. So with Caden right now, they form in the kidneys and in the eyes. Thankfully, you know, since he's been diagnosed, the crystals have not grown at all. He's on eye drops 4 times a day. We have to kind of keep him out of the sun as much as possible. If he is outside, we have sunglasses on him. Also, he overheats. He doesn't sweat like you and I do. So in a drop of a dime, he can dehydrate. He has a gastric tube. That's something that was put in a couple of weeks before we were actually discharged. He is fed through that tube. He is given his meds through that tube. He is hydrated through that tube. It's our lifesaver because, in the event he is dehydrated or he's sick, he has a fever, we run coconut water through it. We run water through it. We run Pedialyte through it. It just prevents us from taking him to the ER, which we have visited several times. But it's just a lifesaver, Another thing with him, he doesn't eat. So when he was, first diagnosed, he was eating. But they ended up putting in an NG tube and a nasal gastric tube and an ND tube. So once they put both those tubes in, it's like he just completely stopped eating. So it's kind of like we're having to retrain him to eat again. He's come a long way. We have started therapy. He's been in speech therapy, swallowing therapy, which I have taken a break from because he's been in it for a while and it's just a lot on me, running back and forth. But he has come a long way, He eats yogurt. He does suck on fruits. He has chewed a little bit of a cracker before, just a little bit. But his issue mainly is that he doesn't know what his teeth are there for. He does not know that the teeth are there to chew. So that's what our issue is with him. That's what we're working on, but, God's willing, it will come at its own time. But he is, as you can see, a normal, rambunctious, crazy 4-year-old. He is absolutely smart. I don't know if you guys have seen the other video that I posted. I was doing a little trial run and he actually was sitting there after his brother was doing his homework and he was reading his brother's sight words and spelling words. He is reading on a first grade level. He's been reading on a first grade level since was maybe 3.5, 3. He counts to 100. He does the alphabet frontwards, backwards. I don't even know if I could do the spelling words not the spelling words, the alphabet backwards. But overall, we just make it work. So, I'm just here to just inform my parents that have kids with special needs. You're not alone. I know what it's like. I have my moments every month. At the end of the month, I'm venting to somebody because, my husband and I, we work very well together, but I work from home. So I am the one to do all of the appointments, labs, take him to therapy, take them to school, get them ready for school, do this, do that. It's a lot on me, but, like I said, I just take it by the, and keep it moving. But I just want you guys to, follow me on this journey. We're going to talk about a lot of things, from how we need to stay strong, how we need to keep it moving. I'm going to show you how we prep his medication for the nighttime, for the week. We are actually going on a cruise this week, 3 more days to be exact. So I'm going to show you guys how we prepare for our cruise. A lot of people who have kids with special needs, they don't like to go anywhere, like they're afraid to take their kids on vacation because, something may happen or, it's so much to pack. Let me tell you something. No, this is going to be Caden's 4th cruise at 4 years old. We've been cruising since he was 2. And yes, the first year was a lot. I actually forgot one of his very important medications. And for the first 3 days of the cruise, I wanted to lose my brain. But, it's how you make it. This is our new normal. This is how we have to adapt to life. So we cannot sit around and act like, okay, I can't do anything anymore because my child has an illness. But I don't want him to grow up feeling as if he cannot do things because he has an illness. Yes, we have to take precaution. And yes, we have to be prepared and make sure we pack everything and have everything going. But we cannot stop our lives. He's going to grow up knowing that he has to take his meds and do what he has to do. and stay healthy and keep hydrated. But also, I also want him to know that he can travel, and he may not be able to play a sport because, of the easy dehydration issues, and, he can easily break a bone or anything like that. But there's so many other things he could do. Shoot, the way going with his little smart cookie self, he could be in the spelling bee. I would be the proudest mother ever. Spelling bee. He could play piano. Girl, he could do anything. He could be a model. Anyway, so we are going to be on this journey together, guys. I am so excited. I started a blog a couple months ago, about special needs moms, and, how I keep myself together. Let me not say that, because I just had a moment, this past weekend, after, he was seen by his nephrologist. Every time I have a nephrology appointment, my brain, it's like everything just comes back to me all at once. But you know what? I went into the shower, I put a candle on, I turned off the light, and I listened to meditation music, and I cried in that shower, But then I was fine. We got to let it out. I have no problem letting it out, and I have no problem venting to people. And I think it's healthy. It's very healthy. It is important to vent. Don't let it in. Don't leave it in. We got to let it out. But anyways, so guys, I want to welcome you to my beautiful, lovely channel. So please click that subscribe button and follow the Thomas family voice. Thank you.